Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back to the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast. Super excited to be back in your speakers one more week. Keep it going.
I'm happy to be back with you, Cameron, because you were gone for a little bit doing a little bit of training, right?
I was gone.
National Guard stuff.
And it seems like to the listeners I wasn't gone because we just had an episode come out last week.
Right.
But no, I was gone for 3 weeks at National Guard training. It was a good time.
Even though you had like diseases all over your body.
Yes, I was diseased and corrupted. I had fun fact about me is I'm highly allergic to poison oak, poison ivy, poison sumac. Like if I am in vicinity, like it's around me and somebody farts and like it picks up the dust and hits me, I will get it all over my body. So I got poison ivy on like 60% of my body in places that I don't want to mention, but I'm healed now. And then I also had to go to the hospital because we don't know what it was. The ambulance said it was like, oh yeah, there's a little bug going around. But then I'm pretty sure it was the water that our first sergeant dropped off in some random 5-gallon jug.
You all should get it at the same time, right after drinking this water.
And like, I will say respectively, like we've gone through those 5 gallons before because we just have we hope that the sun destroys the bacteria just by beating on this water all day long. Because you have to boil it to get rid of the parasites.
Oh, yeah, man. I've only ever had 1 or 2 incidents during the Q course where I would we had the square plastic can, or the rubber canteens.
The 2 quarts?
Yeah, the 2 quarts. Yeah, 2 quarts. And I opened up one after a long time, and there was something slimy and kind of maybe like a slug or something like, I don't know.
Something was in there.
I just chew it up and spit it out.
Yeah, good, of course. That's a Special Forces thing to do.
Yeah. I got the protein.
Yeah, but no, after drinking that water, I was vomiting out my butt and pooping out my mouth pretty much. And it was not fun in the moment, but looking back at it now, it's almost hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like I was sitting in my tent because I bring my own tent. It's an REI 2-person camp dome. So, shout out REI for providing great tents. And I sleep in there, and like I have my own my rollout pad. I have like a Tempur-Pedic. I'm very comfortable in the field. So I bring my own stuff because I'm like, I told myself after Ranger School, if you have the power to not be uncomfortable, why would you be uncomfortable?
Right.
So I bring everything now. I don't use any of my issued shit. I use my stuff. But yeah, I was sitting in my tent, like these flies were just crawling all over me, and I was sitting there just pooping and vomiting, and I couldn't move, and I was like, this is it. This is how I die. I was like,
after all I've been through.
Yeah, I was like lying on the side, and like these flies I was just letting the flies land on me, and I'm like, is this what it's like to be an African child? And then literally, I was like, I die here. This is where I die. And then I saw the ambulance coming. I was like, okay, here we'll be fine.
Well, I'm glad you're back, man. It's good to be back doing a couple episodes. Today is a really fun one. We've been really excited for this since we decided to do it. It was actually, I think it was a suggestion actually from a audience member.
I think it was.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk a little bit about zombies versus the military.
Zombies. What triggered? All my vets are triggered out there because anytime you mention zombies and the military in one sentence, everybody loses their mind, and they just feel entitled to tell you about what they would do.
I know.
So this is exactly what we're.
It's a hot topic, man.
This is a hot topic.
Believe it or not, you almost can't get away from the military in zombie movies because there's. No. Anytime there's a zombie outbreak, the military is always kind of in there with the background. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's a giant fighting force. Yeah. So of course you think about mass zombies and whether it's genetically engineered or the dead rising from the grave or rage zombies or whatever.
Yeah, rage zombies.
the military is always there. And so we'll talk a little. Let's just talk a little bit about first of all, so. Why, some portrayals of the military in zombie movies.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, everybody is so serious in these zombie movies. Like, they take their job, super seriously. But I don't know if, in the case of a zombie apocalypse, I know a lot of the guys that I know were very free thinkers. So it's if the military is going to put you in a situation that will literally get you killed, well, I mean, that's kind of to say just because we go on deployments and that happens.
Then you might actually get
killed. But
it's
like, come on, a zombie apocalypse happens. You think all your soldiers are gonna stand in formation and everything? No, we're gonna end up like aliens. We're gonna be all like badass and everything, just stacking bodies.
Here's the thing, though. As I was thinking about this, people want to know our perspective on a number of different like pop culture situations, right? Mm-hmm. And then we like doing that. But so in this case, it depends on a number of things. Like, first of all, the kind of zombies.
Oh, that's a big factor.
Right, the mythology. Because like, if we're talking like George Romero, like the dead rising from the grave zombies, like these are decrepit bodies.
Oh, the Walking Dead type.
The Walking Dead type stuff. Yeah,
we're good.
You know,
we're
easy because they're only really dangerous when they get in like groups. They're slow moving. You know, obviously they have a little bit of power, but you know, like in the show Walking Dead, like they're just like stabbing them in the skull.
Yeah, they just run by. They're like stab, run by, slash.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like dead.
And you know, and the thinking about being like in the military, like we're organized. We have a certain baseline level of training and stuff like that. You know, I feel like that wouldn't be as much of a problem. Even in like some of the remakes, like the George Romero, like you know, Dawn of the Dead and stuff. Like, it's not like there are portions of society that have broken down, but then you see the military kind of rolling in and doing their thing. You know that there's still organization, and the military is the main part of that.
Yeah.
But like, there's other ones like they're the intervention. You know. But then there's like the rage zombies from like 28 days later, 28 weeks later.
World War Z.
Those
are like all of Kenya decided to become zombies and just start chasing after.
It's basically like a flood of bodies. Yeah.
There's no weapon system like handheld small arms that can help, because everyone's like, just like you said, if they're slow moving zombies, like that's just a crapshoot. That's a good ass time for me and you.
Mm-hmm. But turkey shoot.
Yeah, literally, it's like 28 days later happens, or Train to Busan. It's like, oh, I'm scared, because everyone's like, I'm a great shot. I have a gun. I train on flat ranges at stationary targets all day. I could take them out. Mm-hmm. If you shooting moving targets, especially, what do you have to shoot? You have to shoot them in the head, right?
Right. That's traditionally, depending on the mythology that we're working with, shoot them in the head. Yeah.
And that would be the best way to drop them, unless you're doing like, Medulla oblongata right there in the T.
Right.
You can't drop them, but shooting moving targets, especially if they're sprinting, and you got to think about an average human body was around 20 inches across, so like you think of the human head as like a third of that.
Yep.
So like you have like a 6.5 inch, a little bit less than a 6.5 inch target moving at like 7 miles an hour left to right. You think you're gonna hit that with your
it's
training?
Hard enough to
no.
And they talk about this. Have you ever read the book World War Z?
No, I actually just watched the movie for the first time while I was at National Guard.
Side note, what'd you think? What'd you think generally?
I thought it was cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. I thought that I thought that Israeli bitch was like awesome when she just like takes out the machete and she cuts her
own arm off.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Or he cuts it off, but she's with it.
She's like
Israeli army.
Yeah, they're cool.
Everybody's got to serve, just like Gal Gadot,
Exactly. But the only thing about it was she has this ACOG on her gun, and like she never uses it. Like the entire time she's like shooting, and she has this optic, but she just looks over top of it, and she's just like airsofting.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there it is. There's your military reaction to that movie. Get better, you actresses and actors, if you're gonna use a gun.
You look great. Look better.
Yeah. You're doing great.
But
be better.
The book is very different. The book is more of like it's after the world has already recovered from the zombie plague and society's kind of rebuilt itself, and it's a journalist going around and doing interviews trying to find out about the origins, the outbreak, how they solved it, all that kind of stuff. Very cool. Each chapter is a different account from different perspectives, about how it spread. Like it starts in China, and no lie,
foreshadowing.
I'm just saying that's what happens, but in the beginning with the military, they fight them a certain way. It's like this wave of people, and they're shooting and stuff, but they're not dropping because they don't know about, shooting in the head and stuff, and they get overrun. And then later on, there's kind of like a lull where everybody kind of goes to like the west coast of America, and there's like this big open, there's the mountains, the Rocky Mountains become like a natural barrier, so it slows the spread, gives people time to reconstitute and reorganize, and they come up with this thing, I forget what they call it, like the Slayer or something. It's like a half axe, half shovel, half pike thing, and then that's how they get trained to like take them out.
Multi-tool.
They learn to like separate groups and cull the herd and stuff. They come up with new tactics and stuff. So still, it's a credit to kind of the general mentality of the military of like, okay, you improvise, you adapt, you overcome, you come up with new plans. And I think there's always going to be like the advantage that the military always has is that it's an organized force. There's a command structure, there's a hierarchy, and that holds things together. The training and the discipline holds things together when normal society might just kind of like fall apart.
Not to mention you have a lot of so there's a saying, especially in reconnaissance, where it's like every soldier is a sonar, or every soldier is I always fuck this up. I always say sonar,
There's a saying.
And everyone's like, you know that one saying one time? I always screw this up. Is you're gonna have to edit this out, Chris. Let me look up this word.
No, let's just roll with it, man.
Is it
Amy will have probably
this up. It totally fucked this one up. What's a word for like it's like not a sonar, a sensor. All right.
Every soldier.
I always screw this up. Okay.
And
all right, action. So they're saying in the military, every soldier is a sensor, especially in the reconnaissance world, because it's a little bit more of responsibility. That's why we take from like established line infantry guys that have a baseline of the basic level 1 tasks, and they have a grip of it, because once you go reconnaissance, it's like every soldier has big responsibility. It's not like you just sit there and you let your team leader tell you what to do.
You wait for somebody to tell you.
Wait for someone to tell you. It's like in reconnaissance, like you can have like a E2 on glass watching, and it will just be him with like a scribe, and while the team leader and squad leader are getting shut-eye because you're operating like 5 days at a time.
Right.
But the point of that is like you have these individuals who go out and who fight, and they're free thinkers, and they are collecting information at all times. So like, what were you trained when you're shooting and your first marksmanship, right? What do they teach you? Do they teach you shooting the head?
No, main body.
Center mass, right?
Center mass.
So can you imagine like your first experience with these like guys coming at you, and you're just sending rounds in the center of the body and just keep running at you.
Yeah.
And it's like trial and error, and like once you get the ones that come back from that experience, they're like, they didn't drop from this, they didn't drop from this.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're constantly building on information collected through combat.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we see overseas, and you see that's how you fight the Taliban, and that's how you fight like other the Germans back in World War II. So that's really interesting that the military brings to the table.
Yeah.
But
so what would you, taking it down to like the personal level, you and I living in the world, we have our training, we have our experiences and stuff like that. Do you think about like what would you do?
Yes,
if
every day. It keeps
let's
me
say,
up.
Let's
keeps
say
me up
it's
at night.
every
night.
Like, you think about this. You've got a little notebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But let's say like traditional like Walking Dead outbreak, fast infection rate, high infection rate. There's shamblers and stuff like that. So kind of slow moving, but once they get close and once they get into crowds, it's very dangerous and stuff. Like you're in LA, it breaks out. What are you doing?
Get the fuck out of LA. That place
gotta
is
egress.
Egress immediately to rural lands.
Open spaces.
Yeah, open spaces. So I mean, a lot of people keep like a cache of like weapons and ammunition, or like what we call a bug out bag. I'm not one of those guys. Okay?
You're not a prepper?
No, I'm not a prepper by any means, because I know preppers exist, and I have enough ammo to kill preppers, and I take their stuff.
Take their stuff they've prepped.
Their stuff. So 1, you got to worry about zombies. 2, you got to worry about people like me who are trying to come after your stuff.
Very much an escape from Tarkov.
Yeah, literally. So it's I think that would mainly be the more realistic version. But then again, I get called for the National Guard, and they're gonna be like, "Here, help! Kill these people that are bundled up." They're probably
gonna try to get you to like, come to this base. We're gonna try to hole up in this base.
Yeah.
Would you be like, I gotta go, or would you be like, I'm out. I'm not in the National Guard anymore. I gotta go.
Ooh, that's an interesting. Well, the thing is, I've seen what happens when you don't show up for National Guard, and literally nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. We had one guy just not show up for like 3 times, and we're like, "Hey," the first time was like, "Hey, where is that guy?" "Oh, I don't know." And then the next month happened, and he's like, "Oh, he's still not here." "Where is someone? Call him." "Oh, I called him and he didn't answer." "Oh, okay." And then the next month was like, "Okay, seriously, where is this guy?" And then we sent someone to his house. He was just at his house. He got out of the military and just didn't want to turn in any of his stuff. And it broke my heart because I loved that man. He was a great soldier.
And he just
betrayed me. He's just like, "Yeah, whatever, dude. See you never." And like nothing happened. Nothing happened to that guy.
Consequences.
Yeah, no consequences ever.
I give thought to like we live in Los Angeles, so there's a very real possibility of like a major earthquake and all services being like down.
Yeah.
And let's say I couldn't shelter in place, and I had to get out of here. I think about like I think about where I would go. Like I have like cousins on like in like north of town and stuff like that I would try to get to. You have to kind of like. I think about like way stations. Like I could get to here, and I have this much ammo and this much resources and water and stuff like that. And I love ruck marches, so I think about you kind of roll these things through in your mind.
Like I could walk on foot because you think about the amount of people trying to egress.
Yeah,
in this town the roads won't be. You can't because it'd be packed.
Yeah, I would try to take. I know that there are passageways through like the Angeles National Forest and stuff like that. I would try to stay away from as many people as possible, because like you say, you don't have to just worry. Yeah, people suck, man. Especially in like if you ever watch movies like The Mist or Walking Dead, it's not the zombies you have to worry about. They're like people. An afterthought. It's the people you got to worry about. Yeah. I would not trust anybody. I might have a friend or two, that I could take with me, But other than that, you don't trust anybody. No. It's unfortunately it's like every man for himself.
It is, thing, And the thing is that's super interesting too, is because as Americans we love our guns, baby. Woo! Second Amendment. But and the amount of guns that exist, I'm pretty sure there's more guns
than there are
people in this country.
Yep.
Which is super awesome.
Yep.
And that just imagines like, do we need a military intervention at that point?
Yeah.
It's like, or can the people literally take care of themselves because they're armed to the goddamn teeth?
Yeah. You remember the movies I'm thinking of, like they did a remake of Night of the Living Dead, and then there's like Return of the Living Dead. Those two franchises split, but you think about like. At the end of the movies, like after the main characters are all tired and worn out, but they come out and it's like all these little militias have sprung up, and it's just a bunch of good old boys, like you gotta shoot them in the head. And they're like throwing them into the pile, the bonfires
we learned this months
and stuff.
ago. You guys gotta,
they got nothing to worry about. You shoot them in the head,
Just thinking about that now, I feel like I would go off on my own to answer your question from before. Like the guard called me, I'd be like, "No, sayonara." You didn't hear that, guard. But just because you think about they have goals and they have things they want to accomplish using the soldiers. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm like, well, my goal is survive. Mm-hmm. It's not to like find a cure. I don't care about the cure.
Right. World War Z, they're like, hey, we need to send you to these bases. These guys are going to help you. That's another thing, too. You think about, like, let's say you're let's say you're active duty, and they're like, it's a difference between defending a position, like you say, if we have security, we have everything, we do anything, or you're going to go out into the stuff. You're going to go out into the zombies. You got to find this lab somewhere. You got to go find a scientist that's going to help us out.
Yeah, if you're active duty, you're pulled in immediately. Yeah. Because it's like, you got to think about the culture. It's like the National Guard, your military is second. And in active duty, military is your life. So it's like, where are you going to go, buddy? You're home. You live in New York. You're stationed in Washington. Yep. It's like, you can't get back there. You're with me, and your ass is mine.
Yep, exactly.
But dude, that was actually in World War Z, classic Cameron moment here. When they go to the Korean base, the guys there all have Ranger scrolls. Yep. And but they have second ID patches, so I was like, oh, they just got kicked out. that's why they're there.
They're in this podunk post. South Korea is not a good post.
No, it's not. Yeah, I was there for 4 months
really?
Yeah, I went to Korea.
Oh, I was in Korea, but it was like an internal job fair.
Oh, really? No, we went as like so I always say I deployed to Syria. I never say I deployed to Korea because technically it was a deployment. But it wasn't a combat zone, so I call it an overseas training rotation. Because we were there during like the 2016 nuclear scare, so we were like QRF for North Korea, and then we did a giant military exercise to flex America's muscles on little boys over there, and they're like, if you decide to do this, this is what happened. So I was there, but I don't count that as a deployment because it's not. But yeah, so I was there for 4 months, but during my time, it was actually really good. I like Seoul. I definitely want to go back.
Seoul was fun, man. It just as a little side note, like I was there for about 2 weeks it's like an army internal job fair. So like you have people from other units come and join SF, you know. So we'd hang out at our table and play our little movies and be like, you want to join SF? That's fun.
Here's we got this awesome song. You
want to learn it? But then there's always any military base you go to, there's always the same kinds of stuff right outside the base. There's the bars.
There's a bar. There's a whorehouse. There's
strip clubs.
There's a barber shop.
There's sewing shops, barber shops,
it's all there.
and Itaewon, which is right around the base. That's typically what you're going to see,
Yeah, it's Hooker Hill.
Yeah,
Hooker Hill is right there in Itaewon.
You get
I
outside.
never went, but we had people go and they got in a lot of trouble.
Of course, yeah.
And don't pay for sex, people. Don't do it.
No, don't do it.
Just be a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
It'll find you.
That's right. Be honorable.
Yeah.
It will find you. It's going to come back to you. Yeah. Maybe.
But anyways,
back to zombies. Back to zombies.
Zombie hookers.
Zombie hookers. That's right.
But no, if zombie apocalypse happened in Seoul, that would be terrifying.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's Train to Busan.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that one?
No.
Oh, you got to see that one. That's one of the best zombie movies out there today. I think it's one of the highest grossing zombie movies of all time, certainly in Korea. But Train to Busan, for those that don't know, South Korean, obviously. Whenever I say Korean, I always mean South Korean. Yeah, North Korean movies are going to be outside of. They're all going to be propaganda films anyway. But father and daughter get on a train, go into Busan, which is in the kind of southeastern part of the country from Seoul, right at the beginning of a zombie outbreak. And these are the fast mover ones. These are the feral,
Kenyans.
The Kenyans. They're coming at you, and it's like the flood. It's just real clever, good plot devices, good storytelling, good character arcs, all that kind of stuff. But getting stuck there, and there's a sequel too, which I haven't seen, but really just it's worst case scenario because it's the fast moving ones that and even in the first one. At the very end, spoilers, it's been out for a couple of years. At the very end, there is a Busan is secure, and it's all militarized, and they got barricades up and stuff like that.
The Republic of Korea and Army, but the rock guys
That's
are
right.
there.
The rock guys are out there. But most, at the very end, the initial invasion, a lot of military units get overrun, because it's like the lightning attack, and regardless of your training and stuff, if there's 1,000 people running at you,
it's the Blitzkrieg.
What can you do? It's the Blitzkrieg.
That's how they're so successful. Just lightning war.
Just lightning war. Yep.
Yeah.
The lightning zombie war.
So let me ask you this: what would be your go-to weapon to combat the spread, or what would be your cure?
My cure
for these people.
My freedom seed cure. I'm assuming. A certain level. Let's say I went out to the Rangers for the first time in a long time the other day.
Was that?
It was good. I mean, I was missing stuff, but I was missing small targets. It was just pistol stuff too. But it's so good to get back out there because it's a perishable skill.
Absolutely.
Use it
if you don't shoot, you lose it.
Yeah. So let's say they're the headshot zombies. Headshots are usually the safe ones. You know what I mean? I'd have to go with what I know. I have to go with an M4 or Mark 18 or one of those systems that I'm familiar with, or just a shotgun, I'm not thinking I got to kill these guys. I'm thinking I got to make a path. I have to stop them, slow them down and stuff. I feel like a shotgun close range, especially if they're the fast ones too, man. I just got to get rounds out of my gun, something with a wide spread, I just got to hit them and stop them and then I can keep moving, What about you?
I see. I would go away from guns.
Oh,
so I would have.
Oh, yeah. Well, then you got to worry about ammo, right?
Yeah, that's exactly, because ammo's perishable and everybody's trying to get to it.
Yep.
Honestly, this comes from The Walking Dead, and I think it's an amazing tool. Who's the girl with the katana?
Oh yeah, Michonne.
Yeah, I think a katana would be an amazing weapon system to have.
Precision, it's
precise,
sharp.
It's extremely sharp. You're decapitating people. You're chopping legs off, and you can have blades. Because do you ever watch Deadliest Warrior?
No, I remember Deadliest Warrior.
Remember they had a katana, and they would call them three body blades or 4 body blades, and that would just be how many bodies can this katana cut through
in one slice?
In one slice. Yeah, and it was they cut 4 pigs in half with one slice.
Dude.
And I was okay. I was this would be an amazing tool to have just for clearing space, but it's close range. But for long range, I'd probably have an AR. Yeah. So I'd strap it. I'd have a katana on my back, and I'd carry an AR.
Yeah.
And then
the thing about the hand-to-hand, the melee weapons though, is you got to worry you're in a big crowd, fatigue, muscle fatigue and stuff. You got a good 5-10 minutes worth of good action, and after that, man,
you run it.
Yeah, your adrenaline starts to run out.
Exactly. So I just keep a bunch of adrenaline shots. Just hit me in the leg.
Just like the apex, right in there, and you're good to go.
Yeah, just keep it going.
The war zone shots.
Yeah, my bug out bag's just literally full of adrenaline shots.
It's adrenaline shots and ammo.
MREs and ammo. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite zombie movies? Just, maybe not military based, but like just in general.
I would say, I mean, I like that new Army of the Dead movie that just came out.
You did. You liked it.
I did like it. It was cheesy.
It was very cheesy,
but I do like their spin on like the zombies having their own like structure.
Yeah, like almost like a higher now that was the genetically engineered ones.
Yeah.
In the beginning you got the military convoy that crashes and there's a super zombie inside. Exactly. So he's got some intelligence. They can get each other pregnant apparently.
Yeah, I know. I was
spoilers,
like,
Yeah,
spoilers. They use Haley Strategic slings in it.
They use Haley Strategic. Yeah, you saw that. And it's funny. Thank you. Good on Dave Bautista. It's right there, next to it. So even in a close up, you can still see the little dragonfly. The dragonfly. Haley Strategic.
Like, that's awesome marketing. Hell yeah, that's great.
Good for you, man.
But I like that movie. Was very entertaining. It's just a classic. It had like the classic, hit team of just like opening sequences. Yeah, it's like the any crime movie where they go to recruit people and they're like, I'm in.
The montage,
montage.
Everybody has their own motive for wanting to be on the team.
It's like MacGruber. He's like hitting a bench press and he's like, I haven't seen you in years. I got a job for you. I'm in.
Yeah.
That's class. Just had all the elements of a classic movie. But I think if I had to consider my favorite movies, I like 28 Days.
28 Days Later was great. That one really kind of, every once in a while, it's hard to innovate in zombie movies, because it seems like we've seen everything. That one was kind of a benchmark moment. Like, they're fast moving. It's a virus, which actually, I guess, I'd have to look back because I heard a lot of people had a problem with that movie because that part of the movie is just this movie. That's a remake of this movie.
The thing about that I like most about it is it's like the first time you see like the fast moving zombies. This is like this was like a scary movie. This wasn't like zombies, the Dawn of the Dead where they're like fuck. It's hilarious like watching it. It's like this was the first movie that I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that panicking.
Yeah, it's like okay, if this was the real way, like. All these vets that are like, yeah, man, I know. Yeah, I was in the military. I qualified on my weapon system manually. Yeah, I can take them all out. It's like, oh no, man. Panic. If this would happen, like, every man for himself. Like, screw you.
It really would. Yep.
So let me see. What do you got? What's your favorite?
Let's see. I mean, I'm trying to think of like movies that 28 Days Later is definitely up there, but I remember seeing when I was a kid. It left an indelible mark on my memory, but. Day of the Dead. So
classic.
there's
that's the OG.
Night of the Living Dead, and then part 2 was Dawn of the Dead, which is a great one, and then Day of the Dead. Because I just remember there's it's like the last vestiges of humanity. They're in this. They're scientists. They're in this bunker. Zombies are like everywhere on the surface and stuff like that. I just remember the one part where they start getting in. And one dude gets literally ripped apart, he just and it's like a whole bodysuit thing and stuff. But I just remember his guts and all, because it's one shot and you can see him just tearing his body, literally tearing his body apart. I'll never forget it. I was 6 years old when I saw it.
Isn't there a movie by Peter Jackson? Didn't he do a zombie movie?
Yeah, Dead Alive. Dude, that movie made me physically ill when I watched it.
I still have to watch it.
Oh, it's disgusting, man. He has some of the most graphic death scenes I've ever seen in movie history, and it's all camera work. It's all tricks, like forced perspective and practical effects and stuff. And at the end, the guy, there's just a house full of zombies, and he has a lawnmower that he's just holding up, and he's just walking through. Yeah, just spraying blood everywhere. I was watching. I remember I was standing in a video store in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I'll never forget it. And I was watching it, just hanging out, and I'm like, I started feeling like I was gonna throw up. I'm like, it's so weird, man. What about we got to give Resident Evil some love. I mean, there's been a lot of great video games dealing with zombie pandemics and outbreaks and stuff. Resident Evil, I remember playing that PlayStation 1, living in Colorado Springs. The opening. It was. Have you ever played Resident Evil? The first Resident Evil? Okay, so the opening scene, it's a live action cutscene, so they got real actors and stuff.
Oh, really?
But it's the worst acting ever.
Oh, really?
And they're running towards the house and they get in there, and it's horrible voice acting. But that game was so that was a benchmark. It was so seminal in the survival horror genre, And that first hallway, that first L hallway where you're walking down, the dogs jump in and things like that, Man. And then it just opens up to this mystery and stuff, What about
I feel like Resident Evil has done an amazing job of just their storyline. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask, do the new Resident Evil game. They're like, what do you think about
Resident Evil Village?
Yeah, the Village.
I haven't played that yet
because apparently they like the last part of it. They like bring in tier 1 operators, and their kit is like super. It's like you serve with these guys.
Isn't it like called like the Wolf Pack or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. And they're like, and I still have to check it out. But like even one of my privates is like, hey, you need to check this out because he's like, their kit is like super Gucci'd out. And he's like, I would love to see what you think about like what they're wearing because like they got all the stuff that that I currently know about. And I was like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. I have to check out that Resident Evil. But it sounds like they got their storyline because I've played 5. I played
5 was the last one I played actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. But if I want to talk about like my like nostalgia, when I see these, I get all giddy. But the House of the Dead arcade game,
the light gun game, the shooter game.
That thing. Every time I play, I'd waste ungodly amounts of money just trying to get to the. That is a classic zombie game. The 2 guys with the axe and they come closer and they like slash and you're like, damn it.
Anybody remember what arcades are?
No. What are those?
Except besides Dave and Buster's, pretty much the only arcades
the
left.
Adult arcade left.
Yeah, we got barcades now.
Barcades, that's awesome.
They brought them back.
Exactly.
I remember House of the Dead. Do you remember did you ever watch the movie House of the Dead?
No.
Dude, that movie. It's Uwe Boll, who, he's like the worst director of all time. And he only does video game to movie translations.
No.
He only does video game movies. And it's a horrible movie. But yeah, they actually made it. Has nothing to do with anything from the video game other than like there's zombies and the people are shooting them.
It's the same name. There's zombies, but whatever like the characters are, they're not there.
Fun bit of trivia: I am actually featured in House of the Dead, the direct to video. I do some background in it, and there's an opening scene. If you watch House of the Dead 2, opening scene of a bunch of college students doing like a raid on a sorority, like a bunch of frat guys, and they've got like water guns. The girls are in their underwear and stuff, and you can see a very young, fresh face. It was just before I went into the army, so it was about 2004. A young, fresh-faced Israel Wright, pre Green Beret, but I'm actually in fatigue, so there's a little bit of foreshadowing.
Oh, really? That's awesome. And you're just squirting some
ladies
on their faces and bodies. That's awesome, dude. Actually, you guys know the drill. If you can find this and send me screenshots, I need it.
I know somebody out there. Will find it. Actually, we've talked about this before, but I was actually featured in another low-budget zombie movie called The Stink of Flesh.
The Stink of Flesh.
The Stink of Flesh, which is a great name.
It is a good name
for a zombie movie. It's a low-budget, Scott Phillips, Wright director. Great time. Made that out in like 2003. There's a couple little things that I got to do before I joined the army, and then kind of off to the races with life. But I'm a couple different zombies. I'm like 3 different zombies before the opening credits are finished, man. I'm the main characters.
Can you tell?
Oh yeah, you can tell it. Yeah.
He is again.
The first thing you see is it's a fight scene with the main character Matul, and he's fighting a zombie. It's me. We're fighting. We do this awesome fight scene. I thought it was pretty innovative because at the time he used Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the midst of his fighting with the zombies, which I don't think had really been done much at that time. Okay. So.
Just fighting the preferred fighting method of zombies instead of just slashing. And
slashing. He likes to take some time. Yeah, get him in an arm. Exactly. Get him in an arm bar, omoplata. Yeah.
Just choke him out. Put him in a triangle while he's like gnawing on your arm. Like.
Yep.
That's awesome. The Stink of Flesh. I'm gonna have to find that one.
Yeah. Not for kids, folks.
Not for kids. No. PG 18.
Exactly. Yep.
What about? That's awesome, man.
Well, one more I want to talk about. Now we're just talking about zombie movies in general, and I've been talking about like military connections. But like, you ever play the Dead Space series?
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
it's actually one of the only horror video games I've ever played.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the OG one. I played it back when I was a youngin', and that's a great game.
These are necromorphs, which I guess, I think they qualify as zombies because they're infected with this kind of like an alien, outer space like ancient artifact that twists and perverts people, and stuff into killing machines. So,
yeah, I did like the Dead Space. I think his getup is cool. How like you start out small and then your equipment gets better and better.
The attachments,
you
different
get
suits and stuff like that.
You put attachments on because you start out with that little plasma pistol or something.
Yeah, plasma cutter. Yeah,
the plasma cutter, and it's just like as you go. It's a fun game. I just remember every time you'd leave the spaceship, it would be like, oh shit, here we go.
They got another one coming out from that same game developer, the Callisto Protocol.
Callisto.
It takes place on like a prison planet, and I don't even. There's only like a teaser coming out. It's not coming out for another year at the time of this recording, but same developers. I heard somebody was saying there was like a rumor they were going to remake the Dead Space games.
Really?
Which, as I think about it now,
them?
yeah, like remaster them and stuff like that.
Very cool.
That'd be really
awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
And then my final thought is you got to introduce, or you got to talk about Call of Duty.
Call of Duty Zombies, the DLC.
Yeah, that one. Those are just fun to play. I mean,
there's something. This is something I've been meaning to mention, but like, there's something about the idea of zombies that is actually kind of like alluring, right? Because it's like, killing is wrong. All right, murder is wrong, but
depends who you ask.
When it's a zombie,
that's all.
There's that little darkness inside of you gets to come out and play like Woody Harrelson from Zombieland. They're not people. Let's go. It's okay. It's fine now. We can just chop them and hack them to pieces. And
nobody's
get
like
out.
Zombie lives matter. Man.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna be saying that.
Yeah, no one's gonna say that. You just hack
zombie
them up.
rights now. You know.
No, you're just zombie phobic.
That's right. Yeah, quit being a zombophobe.
Yeah, no, there's definitely that attraction because like, everybody is dirty inside. Everybody has their needs and desires.
I think
you've seen Hostel.
We just need to bring people together
zombies,
with the zombie outbreak. You know, get a couple bath salts out there.
Yeah, nothing like violence to bring people together.
That's right.
It's amazing. Well, on that note, I think it's time to transfer to our game.
Let's play a game, man.
Let's play it. We know nothing about this.
We don't know anything.
We're in the dark.
Chris, you want to help us out?
I do. So the game today is called Who Started It?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Wow, no reaction.
Are we talking the fire? We didn't start. I didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning.
No, we agreed when we started the podcast there'd be no Billy Joel references.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We can cut that out later.
Okay. So I'm going to give you the title of a zombie movie or a game featuring zombies, and you tell me if the military or the government is responsible.
All right, I like it.
Is it your fault?
Slash if they're the villain.
Whose fault is it? Okay, the villain or who started it.
Okay.
It sounds easy, right? Well, it's not. So strap in.
Okay.
I forgot my straps. I'm sorry.
I forgot my straps, yeah.
All right, so the first one is Night of the Comet.
Night of the Comet.
Night of the Comet.
It's from 1984.
I'm very familiar with this movie.
Oh, you know?
Yeah, it's got Chakotay from Star Trek Voyager in it.
Of course you know
that's exactly correct. It does. He's the main dude in it.
Yep.
So,
of course.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're on my team.
I know the answer to this one. This is not the government's fault, not the military's fault. It's a comet that flies overhead, and anybody that wasn't in a particular kind of building made from a certain material, like inside like a lead line building, got turned into a zombie, like a flesh eater, you know.
Well, actually, if you were just outside and you got exposed to it, you just turned into a pile of calcium.
That's right.
Yeah, and if there was just a little bit of exposure to it, then you turn into a zombie, eventually becoming a pile of calcium.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
Why calcium?
The comet doesn't like calcium. I don't know.
Yeah, the premise is that it's this same comet. It hadn't been around since the dinosaurs were around.
Oh, so that's what took out the dinosaurs. That's why there's just bones of calcium.
Yeah,
but yes, you're correct. It's a comet.
All right.
It's the name Night of the Comet.
Then the government comes in and makes everything worse.
Yeah,
but it's not their fault.
There are some scientists that end up being the villains, but as we all know, the government hates scientists. So
that's right. Yeah.
All right, next one, Dead Island.
Dead Island. An island for the dead.
It's a video game from 2011.
I'll tell you one thing I know about this game. I have only ever played like the first 10 minutes, but one thing I remember is it has got the saddest marketing campaign in the world. Like when it came out, was all these videos that they're not played. They're just scenes that they cut for the video game to advertise it. So they're not in the game, but it's like these. It's like one of them's like a reverse photography, so it's going backwards. It's like this little zombie girl she falls out of a building, falls into the building. She's attacking her own dad, and then it cuts between that and like pictures of the family together on the island. It's like an island resort that gets a zombie outbreak.
I know this video game.
Yeah, okay, but it's like so sad. You know, like there's one where like a woman and a man are looking at each other as a candlelight, but the candle's actually a lighter, and they're inside a boat, and they're surrounded by gasoline tanks, and there's zombies all around. They're trapped. They're gonna die, and they're like looking at each other. I love you, and it pulls out, and just the boat just explodes.
That's awesome.
It's all like sad. It's so sad, man.
So sad.
I need a nap.
Who hired this marketing guy, man? And what's going on in his personal life?
So who created all that sadness? Was it the military?
The government. Always blame the government. When in doubt, blame the government.
I'm gonna play the odds. I'm gonna play the averages here as far as multiple choice. I'm gonna say the government did it.
Yeah.
It is not.
It's not the government.
It's a disease from the island of Papua New Guinea, where the resort is.
It's always those.
I think it's based on a disease called kuru.
Oh,
it's a real thing, but that's not. Actually, doesn't make people zombies.
Okay, it's like a flesh-eating kind of thing or whatever.
I think kuru's like mad cow disease, but for humans.
Okay.
So don't eat human brains.
All right. Good to know. Don't go to those wet markets in Papua New Guinea.
Apparently, animal brain matter makes really good moisturizer.
Interesting. I've had pig's brains before.
Have you? No, but you take the brain and you like rub it on your fingers. And
all right, fellas, we're losing a thread
here.
Sorry.
I watched Alone last night, and this dude is awesome. You got to watch it. Okay,
right, next one. Planet Terror from 2007.
Planet
Terror.
Oh,
man, yeah. Planet Terror, that was Robert Rodriguez. This was the Grindhouse films. They did a double feature with this and then Death Proof by Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
So this is Robert Rodriguez, and as I recall, this is definitely
Hold on, wait.
Oh, okay.
Cameron, do you have a thought?
I don't. You're taking the reins on this one, man. You're like, yeah, it's this guy. It's over here.
Sorry,
and I'm
before I just give away the game.
Yeah, I was like, sure, let's go with that.
I'm just trying to get the thread back, Chris.
It's fine. All right. So Israel.
Yes, it's this is definitely this is government made, military made. I remember because Bruce Willis is the leader of this elite squadron. They are the originators of this kind of it's an infection. It's like a virus kind of thing, and they need this kind of like this. It's like some sort of gas substance to keep them normal, but then like if they can't get the substance, they turn into And then I remember he has the monologue about how they were the ones that got Osama bin Laden. At the time they hadn't gotten him. He's like, and then the government betrayed him, and they exposed him to this gas, and it infected him and stuff like that. So.
That's correct. It's the military.
It's the military.
I don't know.
You guys
at that point, I'm like, he wouldn't have just made all that up. So.
This is great.
But yeah, they create a bioagent that turns people into zombies.
Nice. That monologue. I have to check out that monologue about Osama bin Laden. That shit's hilarious. Have you seen that video with that one guy? And he's like, "You guys got any deals here for the guy that fucking killed bin Laden?"
No way.
Yeah, it's a comedy sketch, but since
isn't it Rob Riggle?
It is. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Okay,
he's like, this is a big secret. You need to keep it. And then the next shot cuts to him in a bar. He's like, "You guys got any deals for the guy that fucking shot bin Laden?"
It wasn't Rob Riggle actually in the military?
Yeah, he was a Marine captain.
Yeah, Marine. We got to get him in here, man.
Yeah, we do.
Rob Riggle, come to our podcast.
Yes.
All right, next one. The Last of Us in 2013.
The Last of Us.
Yeah, right here.
You should know this.
For those watching on YouTube, I got the poster. That's from Comic-Con 2012? Yeah, Comic-Con 2012. Exclusive poster right there.
Exclusive. Can't find that anywhere.
Yeah.
It'd be worth something one day.
Except I have a rolled up one. I have a second one. And just in case that one gets scratched, I have another one in my room. So.
You scratch the CD.
What do you think, Cameron? Have you played this series?
I've not played this series.
It's so good. Dude.
Is it?
It's
I
good.
think I've watched people play it. Is it on PS?
Yeah, it's on PS3, and then
perfect.
They had a remaster for PS4, and then they came out with the second one just like a year or two ago. Yeah.
So we brought this on deployment with us to Korea, and I would watch people play it, but I never got on the sticks.
What do you think? I think I know, but
I gotta say, Israel's carrying a lot of the water. Here,
I know
Cameron.
he is carrying the water.
We're talking about video games, man.
I'm on his back, cracking the whip. Go faster! I have a lunch to make.
Like that TikTok.
Yeah, go faster. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's natural, all natural.
All right.
That's my guess.
I'm going to say natural as well. Spores.
Yeah,
as well.
It's a fungus. It's not the military.
Fungus.
Nice.
It takes over the body, kills the host, and you become a fungusy shell spreading spores.
How did they find it? Digging? We always find something.
I don't know that the origin is ever explained, but like it totally decimates society, and it's very much. I think they're making a TV series actually now. It's very much Walking Dead. People suck. The virus is an afterthought.
That's a real possibility because Valley Fever. You hear Valley Fever?
No.
That's what they thought. That was a possibility when we got sick at National Guard training because we were digging and stuff. And it's like if you dig deep enough or if you uncover a specific fungus in it and the spores get in it, it makes you really sick.
Ugh.
So some guy kept saying, "It's Valley Fever!" So that's actually... could be a possibility. Just gotta keep digging.
I thought you were just talking about living in the San Fernando Valley.
Oh no, I think
when it gets really hot.
I think it's in the valley though.
Oh, okay.
All right. Next one, Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
From 2021, this year. You were just talking about.
Yes. Okay. So that one is the government's fault, as everything is. Yeah, because they bring him in on the convoy. They fuck up. He gets loose. The Air Force, of course, have no tactics whatsoever.
Yep.
So they just start running.
Yeah, it's the opening montage of that movie is really interesting because they do all these things that like don't seem like I would not, if I was in the military and a commanding officer, I would not do. Like I would maybe start with the nuke, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're doing these things, they're like paratroopers dropping in and they're like totally getting overwhelmed. Like why did you do that? Why would you drop
that's
right
not
in
even
there?
a good tactic. That wasn't even a great
that's just
tactic.
Zack Snyder. He wanted to make it
that's
look
not even a great
cool.
tactic.
Yeah.
It's like
Horrible
it's going to
tactic.
trigger people. But airborne is the most useless thing. It happened in World War II.
Worked once.
And it only worked once, and that's because literally Geneva Convention, you cannot shoot paratroopers coming in.
Oh, really?
You're not allowed. It's a war crime to shoot
I'm
a
sure
paratrooper.
everyone followed that rule.
I know, exactly. Oh, you think this is going to work in a zombie apocalypse that don't follow they're just going to herd underneath them just like they did in that movie.
Oh, speaking of World War II, honorable mention, Overlord.
Overlord, yeah.
Yeah, sorry not to go too long on this
It's
one.
cool.
There's too many to number, man. World War II, secret Nazi experiments. You could go for days on the material of just secret Nazi experiments, occultic experiments, all that kind of stuff. That's very much Frankenstein's castle.
No.
Frankenstein's army.
Frankenstein's army. That's a cool movie. You haven't seen
You
that
guys
movie.
are nerds.
Okay.
It is the military.
It is the military, yes.
It is the military and Army of the Dead.
Yeah. One thing I have to get off
zombie that gets out and totally ruins Vegas.
He's even got dog tags and everything. Like he's definitely experimenting.
One thing that I need to get off my chest for that movie is right when they see him get loose, they start running, but there is literally a perfectly good Humvee that is like right next to the guy, and it's up armored too. You just literally get in that thing and combat lock
the
it,
doors,
and you are safe.
Yep.
But he decides to run like an idiot.
Out into the middle of the desert.
Yeah, out in the middle of the desert, you have nothing on you, like.
But then there wouldn't have been the movie.
No, there wouldn't. Actually, there still would have been. He just would have been alive.
Yeah,
he
would have been one less military guy. He just would have went and lived his life.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, you can combat lock a Humvee. Also, Humvees don't have keys.
Oh, that's good to know.
It is good to know.
All right, Left 4 Dead from 2008.
Left 4 Dead.
It's a video game.
It's a video game, yes.
Yeah. Never played it. That's the group one, right? Where you can partner with each other and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a group of 4.
Yeah.
No, really. Okay.
This is kind of shot in the dark.
Shocker. I haven't played this one either.
You gotta get with it, Cam.
Dude,
Take a shot.
Stop going to college. Stop going to college.
Stop living your life. Stay home. Play video games. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's the government's fault. It's always the government's fault.
I'll go with you on this one. It seems like it seems like a good story setup, you know.
They left us for dead. They started it. They took it out.
And then
like some foreshadowing in the name.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about the format of the game where you're partnering together. There's got to be some sort of great antagonist apart from the zombies. I'm going to say it's the government.
Okay.
You guys are wrong.
Wrong. What is
It's
it?
the
Spores?
green flu.
The green flu?
Yeah.
How did that start?
I don't know. I didn't look
China?
it up. I took the green
that's
flu
the Kung
and I
flu.
was satisfied.
The Wuhan flu.
All right, and this final one is 28 Days Later from 2002.
28 days later, if I get this wrong, it's going to look embarrassing because I'm like, that's one of my favorite ones. I said that one was one of my favorite ones. It is, but it's been a while.
It's right in the beginning. They give away the game like right away.
Mm-hmm. It is the government's fault.
Well, I mean, now I'm second guessing myself. It's obviously an organization. It's a scientific to get it there because these animal rights activists break into a lab with these monkeys. And he's like, you can't let them out. And they're like, what's in the stuff? He's like, rage. You know,
what's in the stuff?
Yeah. And so it's obviously an experimental kind of thing. I forget if it was the government or if it was just like some private
corporation,
like umbrella type pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, but I'm sure the government had their fingertips.
Yeah.
I always blame the government.
Publicly funded.
What are we saying?
I mean, yes, government, yeah.
I put it's the military.
Oh,
Scientists, maybe from the government, create the rage virus that turns everyone into a zombie. But it's the military that's the villain at the end of the movie, so I counted that.
Oh, yeah, they really do.
They're kind of the bad guys.
Yeah, they go into that. It's Christopher Eccleston. Like they're trying to survive, and they got like zombies. Was Idris Elba the zombie that they had chained up? Was that like a bit of trivia? That's not him?
No.
Okay.
No, it just looks like him.
Just look like it. You're racist.
That's not.
All right, and so that's the game. I think you're 50%.
50%?
I
I'll take
wasn't
those
keeping
odds.
track.
I'll take that.
I'll take that.
As long as I get the video game ones, then.
You got most of the video game ones.
I just want to say I contributed nothing to this conversation.
I led you by the
that's
nose.
Okay. And that's okay. Because, strengths, you have good days, you have your bad days.
That's right. We complement one another.
Yes, we do.
You have the laptop, I have the clipboard.
Exactly.
We have the old and the new.
You are the old school, I am the new school.
Yeah.
I'll put some stickers on that clipboard. Let's customize it. Thank you so much for tuning
Thanks,
in. We
everybody.
hope you learned something about zombies, or, you know, we would love to hear what you guys would do during a zombie apocalypse. So what you can do is email us, send us a message on Instagram. Our current email is pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram at
PCFM Podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
We come out with new episodes, new podcast episodes every Wednesday. And if you want to go over to our YouTube channel, we throw those videos up about every Friday, and they've got extra content, extra bits for those that are watching right now. A little bit of good stuff if you want to go over there and subscribe.
You can see the stupid look on my face when I'm like, I haven't seen this movie. I haven't played this video game.
Exactly. Or you could see me being an awesome nerd referring to my amazing Last of Us poster. You know, just totally being like, this guy's a Green Beret.
Yeah, right, dude. We got to switch out. We got to put your going away poster.
Yeah.
Your going away plaque.
That's right, man.
And I'll bring my... we should start bringing our berets and just like putting them on the TV.
Just hanging them off the TV.
Yeah, just flex.
Honoring the unit.
Exactly. Well...
Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually...
You don't have to plug your stuff.
You don't have to plug your stuff if you don't want to.
Oh, I mean, I can. I mean, you can come and watch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/myhappyself. I stream 3 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays, 3 to 8 p.m., and Friday morning, 7 a.m. until noon. But I don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that. And I don't have to talk about Kick Out Apparel, my personal streetwear brand. It's a great brand, great cause. Go ahead and find us at www.kickoutapparel.com or on Instagram at kickoutapparel.
Right on.
Thank you, and we will see you next time. Cue music.